My 28M girlfriend, 25F, is constantly criticizing my food choices and it's causing a big problem in our relationship. TL, doctor at the bottom. This is a long post with background info, so bear with me. My girlfriend and I have been going out for 10 months now, and about 6 months in I lost my job due to COVID, so we were spending a lot more time together, and I think this is when she noticed my diet. A couple of disclaimers before I go further. First, I freely admit my diet was not the best before I met her. Second, her dad is a diabetic, so I think that's where some of this is coming from. Anyways, long story short, I changed my diet at her urging a good deal. I cut back heavily on fried food, down to once or twice a month from multiple times a week. Added more fruits and vegetables, apple and banana every day at least, along with veggies multiple times a week, where before it was very little, and I also cut back on pasta and added in more turkey, chicken and fish. For reference, I'm not skinny, but I'm not obese either. If anything, I could stand to lose about 15 or 20 pounds since the pandemic started, but otherwise I'm completely healthy and she knows this. For her diet, she eats exclusively fish, chicken and Caesar salad while exercising an hour per day. I am unable to exercise that much due to bad knees that I both inherited and previously injured, which she is also aware of. However, over the past month or so she has started heavily criticizing my diet again unprompted, to the point where she does it every single meal she sees me eat. Things like, do you really need that much bread when it would be my second piece at a restaurant and she eats the rest of the basket? Or you already had red meat this week. Things like that. Whenever I hold firm, she immediately starts acting like a child who doesn't get her way. She'll start blaming me, saying it's my fault we're arguing. She'll say she's unhappy and that she can't take much more of this, and other things that threaten the relationship. I'll point out the very obvious double standard, but that only makes her angrier, and as this is my first relationship, I don't know what to do but let it go for fear of making it worse. I finally decided enough was enough when on Friday we went out on a date night that was also a trip to pick up a cake for her parents' birthday at a restaurant she had never been to. We are from different towns and she lives 40 minutes away. Also, my mom got this cake and brought it one time and my GF really liked it. I decided to get the roast prime rib as I hadn't had it in a very long time. From there, she immediately questions it and I stand my ground, so to speak, but I also get broccoli with it to calm her down. She then starts crying as soon as the waitress leaves, and says things like, I don't want to be here, I just want to go home, and if you get mad at me, I'm going to call my dad to pick me up, all while still crying. I basically told her that this has to stop and that I can't deal with her criticizing my meals every day. Fast forward to after the worst dinner I've ever had, and we make it back to her parents' house. I go to her mom thinking maybe she can talk some sense into her, because I've been trying to do it for the past week with no success, and tell her what happened. Her mom agrees with me and basically says to my girlfriend, you can't tell other people what to do. It's going to make them do the opposite, and if you continue to do this you can't be in a relationship with anyone. Yesterday she was fine and it seemed like she had taken the message to heart. However, at dinner tonight she went right back to her old self, and I feel like I'm out of options. I don't want to break up with her because I still love her, but I also can't take the constant criticism. I have a million other things to worry about now, between working a full-time job again that is actually a career and going to school full-time as well on top of that, then to have to worry about what is my girlfriend going to think about this choice. I know this may seem silly, but it has gotten to the point where 95% of our fights are this issue, and I feel like I'm doing nothing but sitting, eating, and minding my own business. I have already done an almost 180 from where my diet previously was, and I've pointed this out to her many times. I feel like if I give in to her she'll just find something to criticize about my next meal, and it will be a never-ending cycle. I'm really at my breaking point and I don't know what to do. Any help is much appreciated. TL, doctor, my girlfriend is constantly criticizing my food choices every day, and it's causing a massive problem in the relationship. This is who she is. You've talked to her about it multiple times and even had her mom talk to her about it, and she hasn't changed. She obviously isn't willing to stop this behavior. Your only real options are to break up, Just put up with the constant criticism and fighting, or stop fighting her on it and just let her choose all your meals for you. Personally, I'd break up, but if you don't want to do that, your only other option is to just live with her dictating your diet. She's obviously not interested in stopping her behavior. You're not in the wrong here. You're entitled to peace of mind and the ability to choose your own lifestyle. It sounds like you've made a lot of positive changes but are still allowing yourself to enjoy things, which is healthy and good. She seems obsessive about health and could probably use some counseling to work through her unreasonable fears. You are a grown-ass man who doesn't need his girlfriend trying to mommy him and get him to eat his damn veggies. She is not only being controlling but possibly emotionally abusive too. She's forcing you to eat how she thinks you should eat, and then blaming you when you try and stand up for yourself, and also threatens the relationship by saying you eating this way is ruining it. The fact that her own mother agrees with you is a huge sign that she is in the wrong here. You already made changes to please her and she needs to recognize that. I know you don't want to break up, so that means it's time to sit down when you are not fighting, and have a serious talk about this. Ask her why she's so keen on your eating and make sure she digs deep for the answer. I want you to stay healthy is not the answer you are looking for. If she still can't stop, then you need to decide how much longer you think you can put up with her nagging. Personally, I'd never be able to live with somebody who constantly criticized my eating. I had a day-to-day soya. I ate 4 cupcakes, deal with it. I'm a registered dietitian and it sounds like she has some symptoms of disordered eating. The need to be in control and the obsession with healthy food suggest orthorexia. I am not qualified to make a diagnosis, but I strongly suspect she needs professional help from a dietitian or perhaps a therapist. I'm sorry to hear you are both struggling. The problem is you've spoken to her about this and her own mother spoke to her about this, and she still won't knock it off. You might need to break up. If you want to talk to her about it again, you can tell her how you're not okay with how she tries to act like your parent, and that you are an adult who gets to decide what to do with your own body, just as you would not try to control what she eats. Either she can accept that and have a healthy relationship with you, or she can continue to mistreat you and damage the relationship by thinking she has a right to control you, which is abusive. On an unrelated side note, at some time when you have less stress, you may want to see if your doctor can refer you to a physical therapist. I also have knee issues and have had a lot of health problems directly related to not being able to exercise much. Increased muscle use led to muscle atrophy, which led to lots of pain and increased injuries. No fun at all. You are a lot younger than me, so you could head that off. I have found safer exercises for myself, and it is helpful. Thank you for the advice. The knee issue I have is I previously dislocated it back in 2014, then re-injured it twice in 6 months while working at my previous job. Saw a PT both times and I've been doing at-home exercises to strengthen the muscles. My other knee is bad because of genetics, and also I was obese for a long time before losing about 100 pounds, but not nearly as bad as the injured one. My 27M co-worker, 23F, keeps trying to talk to me, but she has a boyfriend. Too long didn't read. Girl I've worked with for the last 18 months keeps trying to engage me in a flirty way when she has a boyfriend, and I'm not sure exactly what the appropriate action to take is. When we first met I knew we both liked each other, we instantly had chemistry, but I was a bit unsure about asking out a co-worker, so I tried to keep a distance from her for a few months. There were times when she'd make it clear she'd want me to ask her out, but there were also things she'd do that were off-putting and childish. For example, blatantly messaging guys we work with when I'd come over to help her out in a way to make me jealous, telling people in our team that we liked each other after a few times where I'd been nice to her. I know she's a young girl and she hadn't had a boyfriend, so some of this kind of behavior might be alright, but I thought it was a bit much and didn't want to deal with that kind of thing at work. So I left the situation and started dating a girl from outside of work. All would be well, but she's had a boyfriend for the last 6 months, and I thought she would ignore me, but she keeps trying to talk and flirt. I basically just ignore her and treat her as someone I don't want to be too friendly with, but it doesn't really do anything. I can't flat out tell her to stop talking to me either, because anytime I say anything remotely negative to her it feels not great, and we still work together in the same team and have to talk to each other every day. Am I in the wrong for basically ignoring her like this? I really hate dealing with people that like to pretend they haven't done anything wrong in a relationship, but I would probably make an exception with her if we didn't work together. It depends what you mean by flirty. One person's flirty is often another person's friendly. I think completely ignoring her sounds potentially quite unfair, and I think a certain amount of friendliness is expected in professional environments. You can be friendly, I guess, without being sexual/flirtatious. Just make boring small talk about the weather or something equally boring. Completing ignoring just sounds a bit awkward and uncomfortable, tbh. I mean, as a young female it gets exhausting when everyone always thinks you're trying to fuck. I'm touchy-feely and a person who likes to give hugs or whatnot. That doesn't mean I'm interested in anyone. From what you've said in the comments, I really think you're reading too much into things. Like she sent you a meme and waited to see if you found it funny. That does not mean she is into you. That's being nice. You guys went out and she touched your arm. Still doesn't mean she likes you. It's really likely she isn't interested, and if she is, it's probably a small crush. Unless she is really trying to come onto you and saying she's interested, don't assume that she is. Absolutely this. I have definitely had times where I try and make friends with a guy and he completely thinks I'm coming onto him when I'm just trying to be friendly. It can be hard for younger people to feel like they fit into a work environment, and she's probably just new to professional relationships. If you're not treating her in a flirty manner, then I wouldn't worry. Either she'll figure out you don't want to be friendly and get on with it, or if she is into you, she'll get the picture. But I would be conscious that not every woman who touches your arm and jokes around with you at work is into you. Well, you haven't listed anything really specific that she's said. Is it possible you're misreading the situation and she's just friendly? How did she make it clear she wants you to ask her out? You said she was messaging your other teammates. Was it work related, or just memes and stuff she sends everyone? She said you all liked each other. Couldn't she mean the two of you get along well? Is she more physical with you than she is with your co-workers? You've described a fun, outgoing girl. Unless she makes more provocative advances that you decline, I would just consider her social and fun. Nothing inappropriate there, bro. Just roll with it. Be social, have fun, and don't cross any lines. He could be a cool homie. A lot of people confuse friendliness with flirting these days. She might just be friendly. My 25F, BF, 26M, cannot get past the fact that I'm not close with my family. Ever since I can remember, I've been at odds with my family. They are very religious and I am not. They threaten to disown me if I do anything they disagree with, including marry or be with someone from a different race or religion. I decided long ago that as soon as I was financially stable I would cut them off. My boyfriend and I met a year and a half ago. I was upfront with him about this dynamic and the fact that I'm not close with my family. Family is important to me and I want one someday. I wish I was close with mine, but I'm not. He is very close with his and has a very healthy relationship with them, and they're very sweet people. Recently we've been having trouble where he's having trouble with my dynamic. It upsets him to know that one day they'll disown me and he thinks it is because of him. I assure him that that's not the case, and that even if he wasn't in the picture, this is what I want and nothing will change. I have a support system of friends who come from similar backgrounds who are always there for me, and I don't expect anything from him, nor do I burden him with my family problems ever. It's almost like they're dead to me. But it bothers him that he can't meet them and that his parents can't meet mine, and that if we have kids they won't know my parents. I struggle to understand why he was so much conflict around this when I'm the one who has to live with it. I'm the one who has to live without having a close mother figure or parents who love me unconditionally. Has anyone been in a relationship where they've been in my boyfriend's position? I need help to help him understand that this shouldn't weigh on him. TL, Dr. Boyfriend is close with his parents and struggles in knowing that I come from a more dysfunctional family.